I guess I'm lucky I got a C average. Camp Krusty is one of the new locations on the Simpsons Fortnite map, and I decided to drop it the crustiest place on Earth 100 times. Let's get into game number 1. Game 1 was my first time at Camp Krusty, and I didn't really know how the layout worked, and I ended up at this spot right by the capture the flag area that we'll talk about later. One thing you should know going to this location is that it's right on the bus line, and there's going to be a lot of people going there. Like, there was somebody in this house, and I had to deal with him immediately. After killing that guy, I immediately went outside to the capture the flag area I mentioned earlier, where you can turn Camp Krusty into Camp Bart. As far as I know, this is the only spot where you can do the capture the flag thing, so it's actually kind of cool. I then had to fight somebody else, and by pure luck, I ended up killing them. And they had Krusty's pistol. The Mr. Blasty pistol was really good. Even when it doesn't have the balloon effect and it's just a regular pistol, it's still really good. And I kind of didn't know how to use it here, but I still killed the guy. After killing that guy, headed over to the Springfield nuclear power plant, and that was probably the worst thing I could have done this whole game. This season's full of sweats, and I just can't build good enough for that. Game 2, I landed at the Lake Springfield Island because I thought it was part of Camp Krusty at the time, and it didn't take me until like 3 games later to realize, so we're just going to pretend like it's Camp Krusty. After what happened last game, I just wanted to play a chill fishing game. Fishing game sucks. Let's play Hungry Hippo. For some reason I went back to the nuclear power plant even though I had like the whole map to discover. I don't know why I did that. The box! I ended up at Springfield Gorge not knowing what I was doing, and I got shot down by somebody with the Krusty pistol. Game 3 I dropped into the big building since there's a hole in the roof. You can get in there quick and get guns before everybody else does. Even with my guns I still died to the first person I found. One thing I don't like about this season is that the wait time to get into a match is like a minute and a half on Spawn Island. We're going. I liked how the fishing life treated me in game 2, so I went back, but there was no chest this time. I'm not going to bore you with all the fishing loot, so I'll show you where I ended up at. Burns Manor. Burns Manor is a POI on the right side of the map, and it's just a huge house. It's Mr. Burns' house, and it's pretty cool. It's got a lot of references. So does everything else. But I enjoy it. Sadly for me, there was somebody at Burns Manor, and he forced me to chase him around forever just to kill me. Game 5, right on the bus, so I'm probably gonna die quick. First house I dropped, I immediately died. Game 6, I died to a guy who washes himself with a rag on a stick. Game 7, me and this guy both dropped on the lookout tower, but there was nothing, so he started pickaxing me. I got a gun, and I still couldn't kill him. This is great, and all I've done is enter my name. Thrill House. I wish I could say this game went well, but, you know, then I would be lying. Game 9, I dropped back on the lookout tower, and luckily it actually got a gun this time, and I got a Mr. Blasty, which is like one of my favorite guns this whole season. As long as you know how to aim, the Mr. Blasty is a really good gun. I made it to the Springfield Town Square this game and cut the head off Jebediah Springfield. Turns out it wasn't that good of an idea, and the whole town wanted me dead. For reasons unknown to me, they made Marge not the tier 1 skin in the battle pass, they made the sidekick the tier 1 skin, so I finally got Marge before this game. This game ended kind of fast, but this is not the last you'll see of Marge. I wear her like 20 more times in this video. Game 11, I still didn't know where the best drop was, so I was just dropping anywhere, but you know, I'm playing with somebody, so maybe we won't die as fast? No way, is this what the outside world looks like? We ended up at Flanders' house, and that's where I got killed. The big building on the bottom left of Camp Krusty has these Krusty burgers, and you can either eat them now like I'm doing, or you can save them for later, which is really useful because it's like the best consumable this season. If you can survive all the people, or there's just nobody at the power plant, it does have pretty good loot. The circle ends up at Camp Krusty a good amount of the time, so we ended up back over there. I don't know how common this is, but I got a supply drop with no guns in it. There was a big fight going on though, so I had to go over there, and I got one of them. But then right after, I died. That's not the end though, I always come back. Oh, never mind, it was the end. Game 13, we're playing as the GOAT LeBron, so we gotta win. We died so fast, it's not even funny. Wait, hold up, we're gonna come back. I might have died even faster this time. One of the main reasons that you should go to this spot is because of the capture the flag area, because you'll get some good purple or gold loot every single time. And I don't think any other location has that. But also one of the best things to do is just leave. Especially if it's right on the bus. There's a lot of people at Camp Krusty. This clip right here is part of why I play Zero Build mainly later on. This was still one of my first games on that first day, and I had no idea where to go. I dropped into a window. Hello, that sounds like a pig fainting. This game really had nothing happen. I died super fast. I need to start listening to my own advice to just leave. I just keep dying. This isn't my favorite drop, but it's a pretty good spot if you want to get to the capture point super fast. But if you want to survive, I would not go here. I mean, if you really wanted to survive, then you wouldn't go to Camp Krusty, but that's what this 100 drops is. A lot of dying. Alright, now we finally get to talk about the best spot, which is this watchtower. If it has the loot, it's pretty good, and it normally either has floor loot or the chest at the top. This was still at a time where I just really could not win. Game 20, I still hadn't dropped everywhere, so I didn't know where was best, so I was still kind of figuring out where I should go. I was just focused on shooting into this guy's box. I didn't even see him. But this time I was already 20 games in, so I kind of figured out that the watchtower was the best spot. This is why I skip a lot of the game. It's just Nothing happens. I actually died like right after that clip. Oh look, I don't have to wear Marge anymore. I finally got another skin. I was actually able to leave Kamp Krusty as the last person, and I killed everybody else, so I don't know, maybe I'm getting better. I went to the nuclear power plant, and then I used a super squishy to just like run out of there super fast because, you know, it makes you fast. Then I somehow found myself in the top 2, and I had like really good loot. He ended up being bad, so I got the first win of the video. This guy just walked into the building with nothing and let me kill him. I was really surprised this guy had Evil Homer. He must have bought it because it was like a few days into the season. The final circle ended up at Cletus's cornhole, and nobody wanted to fight each other. I ended up killing one of the guys, but now I had to find the other one. He made himself known pretty quick. I think he wanted to fight too. Took a little bit, but I finally killed him for back-to-back wins. This was like the worst thing to happen after 2 wins. It took me 25 games, but I finally sat here and listened to the presentation from Mr. Black. It's so weird. I mean, they're like really good or like the worst player you've ever seen. I kind of missed my drop this game, but it had the floor loot, which is why it's such a good drop spot. The best spot to go after you loot the watchtower is this big building right here because it has Krusty Burgers and it has a good amount of loot. I died here though. You can definitely tell I figured out that I like the watchtower drop by now. I actually made it out of Kamp Krusty this game, so something's gotta go good. I found the Witch Marge boss, which was one of 3 bosses at the time, and now there's way more. My aim was really off, and I died. I wonder if people still get as annoyed at this skin as they did last year. Yeah, I don't think this guy was, because he kind of killed me easy. Game 29, I died before I could even do anything. Game 30 probably was an even match, I'm just bad. Game 31 was kind of a risky drop. I was going around this big old mountain. One of the benefits to dropping Kamp Krusty is that most of the buildings have holes in the roof, so it's really easy to get in. Well, it wouldn't be Kamp Krusty if I didn't have to fight somebody. Luckily, this guy was just a bot. Yeah, I thought this could protect me, but it really could not. Game 32, you guessed it, I dropped at the watchtower again, and I had the chest. I would have won this fight if that tree was not in the way. Game 33, I had to switch it up because of my low drop, and I dropped at this mess hall kind of area over by the water. I left before anybody had the chance to try to kill me. The second I left, I immediately got into a fight. That was the last fight I won for this game. Game 34 was a quick one. Stupid sexy Flanders. Game 35, I dropped onto a pretty bad shotgun. I don't care what you say, it's bad. It's not even like a personal opinion, it just really sucks. Game 36, I actually left Kamp Krusty, which is starting to become a rare thing. It really looked like I was going to kill that guy, and then I just didn't. Game 37, at least we don't have to suffer alone anymore. We were actually the only ones at Kamp Krusty. This might be the only time this happens. I also got Mo's 5 gun, which is actually really good. This is one of my first times using it. And unsurprisingly, we ended up back at Kamp Krusty, because pretty much every circle ends up back at Kamp Krusty. This game was taking so long, though, that we ended up at Burns Manor. It was a 2v1 though. There was no way that we were going to lose that. Game 38, Kamp Krusty was right on the bus. I don't have high hopes for this game. We actually made it out of Kamp Krusty, and then I got a 5 gun. This is just like last game. We were at the 33-cent store, and you don't need to see the end. It's not good. Game 39 went even worse. I died like right away. Same thing happened in game 40. Game 41, I dropped at a spot that I barely ever go to. It's a little campsite by the mountain. It was a mistake. I'll go to a real building next time. Homer! Aw, Gray R. I wanted a peanut. I couldn't buy many peanuts and I died. Game 43, I'm wearing this weird skin. I don't think I've ever even worn this skin. You gotta be really careful going to Cletus Cornhole because it's either bots or like the best player you've ever seen. There's one more spot that I want to talk about at this location, but I didn't drop there this time. I went back to the watchtower, and this is an example of a bad drop because I got a bad gun, no chest, and I just immediately died. Game 45 was kind of a bad drop, and I ended up with nothing. I eventually got 1 gun, but that wasn't enough to live. Game 46 was, yeah. Game 47, I was playing and it was late, and it genuinely caught me off guard. Game 48, I was going to go for the watchtower, but it was rudely taken from me, so I had to go over here to the main big building. I ended up dying in that building, though. I finally made it somewhere that wasn't Cletus Cornhole or Kamp Krusty for once in like 30 games. Yeah, I'm never coming back here ever again. You're not going to believe what I did in this game. Yeah, I'm a weak man, but it felt new after so many games of going to the same 2 spots. This death did not feel new. It felt old. Very old. Alright, halfway done. Let's get this other half over with. Oh, this is gonna be a quick rest of the video. I wanted to hire this tomato lady, but I accidentally shot her. Yeah, she'll never find me here. I was waiting for it to wear off so I could hire her, but she just never stopped trying to kill me, and I had to kill her. I ended up at Evergreen Terrace, and that's where I died. I'm not allowed to show what happened to get me this loot in Game 53, but just know I got it. Turns out I wasn't allowed to show any of Game 53. So you didn't see anything. Game 54, the Krusty boss came in. See? I told you guys Krusty would come. Just like I said. Remember when I said don't go to the nuclear power plant, like ever? I was right. Game 55, oh, it's over. Game 56 immediately started with the killing of this Witch Marge skin. It then ended with the killing of me. I think Game 57 would have gone well if I had any other shotgun. Game 58, I was able to take over the location, but then I got shot. He rushed me and then I died. It's always these fish skins that are killing me, dude. Game 60 is over. That's it. Game 61 was boring. There was nobody there, so I just kind of left. I didn't even find somebody until the top 14. Now that I killed that guy, everybody was trying to kill me, and I had to kill this person. How many times am I going to say kill? This game ended in a 1v1 that I really should have lost, but I did didn't. Somehow I won that game. Game 62, I only had one gun and I tried to shockwave away and I got killed. I'm gonna be honest here, I think I was on my phone. Game 63, I was able to finish the battle pass completely, so I got this super style version of Homer. I ended up dying to another Homer. Game 65, my watchtower drop was taken, so I had to find what is now my second favorite drop, which is these 3 little huts right here. I really had no reason to come back after what happened. This was bad. I could have won game 66, but, you know, I'd have to be good. I'm not saying it. I don't care what the number says. I'm not saying it. The game ended bad anyways. I'm not even going to talk about it. See, by this point, I kind of realized that this was a good drop, but I didn't know that you shouldn't drop in the middle one, because then you kind of got to go to one and then all the way to the other. You should drop in either the leftmost or the rightmost building. I ended up with some pretty good loot, so what did I do? I hid. I don't want to die. I shouldn't have ever stopped hiding. That was what was saving me. A lot of insignificant, boring games in this video. This might be one of the best things that I've gotten from the mystery box so far. I got a squishy and a purple tap. If you're going to take one thing from this video, don't go to Cletus's cornhole. Game 71 is a good example of where not to drop. These 2 buildings by the water have a rare chance of spawning their chests, and there's just no loot if they don't have the chests. I died later on way over here, but it's obviously because of my drop spot. Compared to Game 71, this is an example of a good spot to drop. Like I said earlier, these are really good spots, but just don't go in the middle, because then you have to go back and forth and then you can get killed. But if you go from the left to the right or the right to the left, you can just go from building to building to the windows or the doors, and then you're good. The only downside of this spot is that it's right in the most busy area of Kamp Krusty. Took me over 70 games to realize it, but just collecting all of the burgers and then eating them from your inventory is so much faster than eating them one by one on the plate. Okay, I want to know if I'm crazy here. I went outside to check the poster for this nuclear power plant thing, and it clearly reads blue, orange, yellow. So then I go back and I put in blue, and then I put in orange. You know, I'm like, blue, orange, yellow. That's obvious. I'm gonna get my good loot. And then it says it's wrong. So I'm like, is that my fault? I go back out and it still says blue, orange, yellow. So I come back and I try it again. Blue, obviously that's what it said. Orange, obviously that's what it said. Yellow, obviously that's what it said, and it's wrong. And I'm just so confused. So then I just kind of try a random code. I go yellow, blue, and then orange, and I'm like, this isn't gonna work. And then it just gives me the loot. Like, I don't know if they gave me the wrong poster, but I don't know. Maybe I wasn't crazy, because I ended up in the final 2 with super good loot, and then I ended up killing the guy and getting the win. I really haven't talked about this cave enough, but it's really useful because there's a huge mountain in between Kamp Krusty and Springfield Gorge, and it's kind of hard to get up there, especially in zero build, but this cave helps a lot. But it also doesn't help if you just die to a Travis Scott at Cletus's cornhole. Game 75, I made the mistake again of dropping into the middle building, but it's alright. Oh yeah, no, that's not alright. Game 76, I have no idea what I was doing. I don't know. Game 77, I don't want to talk about it. Game 78, I finally went back to the watchtower. It feels like it's been forever. I wish I could say that this game went well, but I got shot through a window. Game 79 was just a nightmare. I dropped into this building and there was no gun, so I ran out and I came down to these 3 buildings, so I knew at least one of them would have had a gun. Dropped down here, no gun. Went to the next building, hoping for a gun, nothing. Checked the last building, still no gun, and there's a guy shooting me. So I tried to run away, there's another guy, and then I just got shot, and then that was just kind of it. Game 80, I dropped on the watchtower, got a gun, but he had a better gun, I guess, and then I died. Game 81, we're the Homer and Peter duo, so there's no way that we lose. Don't mind the fact that he's down. Okay, now I'm the one who's down, so yeah, I'm back though. The Homer-Peter duo never loses. Yeah, I bet you thought I was going to put a clip of us losing, but no, the Homer-Peter duo never loses. Come on. Game 82, I was getting shot before I even landed, so I knew this wasn't going to go well. Yeah, I was destined to lose. You know what? Maybe I do better when I'm not playing by myself. Alright, here's the best looting strategy for this spot. You go in the left one, you loot whatever's in there. You go through the window into the middle one, you loot whatever's in there, then you go through the door and then into the door of the right building and then loot in there. Then you have 2 more buildings that you can choose from, and I chose this one on the right because it had the Mr. Burns mystery box in this game. It only has a 50% chance, but if it's there, then I would loot it. I ended up dying to Flanders though. Game 85 was just kind of sad. Alright, back to duos. That means that I'm gonna win because it's not just me. Yeah, and I bet you thought that we weren't gonna win again. You gotta stop doubting us. The last guy died to Storm. We didn't do anything. Alright, if you doubted us this time, you were right. I could make a stupid sexy Flanders joke, but I did that like 20 games ago. Alright, we're back to leaving the location. Okay, I died. I don't even want to talk about it. We were so close to winning, and then we just didn't. Game 91, I for some reason went to Cletus's cornhole, and there was an OG John Wick, and he killed me. Game 92 probably went the worst it could have gone. This is probably one of the last times I'm going to drop at this watchtower. Okay, yeah, never mind, end this game. I could have said I learned something from this video, but I'm still playing bad. Game 95, I'm dropping in one of the worst spots and getting shot. This is not going to end well. Yeah, I ended up dying to this Batman. 96 games into this video and I'm still making the mistake of dropping in the middle building. I kinda wish that this game went well, but it didn't. Game 97, for some reason I healed in the open and that's why I died. Game 98, I was healing with cover, but I still died. Game 99, I got ran over by this car and then I just kinda got launched and I fell to my death. Alright, here we are, the 100th game, dropping Camp Krusty. This is a good location, it's just very busy, so if you wanna go here like once. My last drop, I went on the right side building of these 3 buildings. I actually got a kill with my mediocre loot, but then this guy popped out of the window and killed me. Well, that was the Camp Krusty 100 drops. If you want to go here, don't. If you do go here, go to the watchtower or the 3 buildings and then get out because you're going to die. And don't go to Cletus's cornhole either. Okay, bye.